She was called the SS Central America, known as the Ship of Gold. The Central America was a 280-foot or 85-meter sidewheel steamer that ran between Central America and the U.S. East Coast during the mid-1800s. Hi, I'm Chris May, writer, producer, and host of This Day in Weather History, now in its second year from the Weather Network in Canada. Today we are recounting the story of when she sank in a hurricane, taking with her 425 of her 578 passengers and crew, along with 30,000 pounds or 14,000 kilograms of gold. This day in weather history. It's the stuff of Hollywood adventure movies, the classic story of the sunken treasure. Ships carrying cargoes, caught in a storm, the ship sinks, and then the hunt for the untold riches is on. This story, however, did happen, and they knew exactly how rich this cargo was. Basically, the whole Pirates of the Caribbean franchise was built on this story premise, but on September 12th, back in 1857, there is no Johnny Depp, or Keira Knightley, sadly, or Orlando Bloom. But there was a real-life hurricane, and the effects of this sinking caused a real-life economic ripple effect that was triggered. Normally, this would be enough for this day in weather history, but this is really just the opening chords of this opera. Let's cover the sinking first. September 3rd. 477 passengers and 101 crew left the port of Colón in Panama, sailing for New York City with just over 9 tons of gold aboard that was prospected during the Great California Gold Rush. September 9th. The SS Central America got tangled up in a Category 2 hurricane while off the U.S. Carolina coast, working its way north to New York. September 11th. This is where it all went real bad, real fast. Winds picked up to 105 miles per hour. That's about 170 kilometers per hour, and that shredded her sails. The brutally turbulent seas flooded her hull, and she was taking on water, literally flooding her engine. The boiler was threatening to fail. In marine life, it only takes a breach to seal a ship's fate, and we had one now in the form of a leak in one of the seals between the paddle wheel shafts and the ship's side. By noon that day on the 11th, her boiler finally fizzled out, immediately ending steam pressure and therefore shutting down both the bilge pumps. With no radio communications, the passengers and crew flew the ship's flag upside down, which, incidentally, is a distress sign in the US and used to signal passing ships. But no one came. All night, everyone aboard pitched in to try and bucket the water out and jumpstart that engine. And all efforts failed. The storm had a second wave, and that one took the lifeless ship with it into the maelstrom. It was now time to abandon ship. September 12th, this day in weather history. By sunrise, evacuations had been ongoing, but only 153 passengers, primarily women and children, made their way onto the lifeboats. The ship itself was totally powerless and trapped in an area of intense winds and heavy seas that pulled her and everyone left on board further and further away from rescue. The SS Central America sank at 8 o'clock that evening. In the immediate aftermath of the sinking, greatest attention, of course, was paid to the loss of life, but there was that other factor to consider. What of the approximately $8 million in 1857 USD that was aboard, that was in gold? Now, in the 21st century, that's worth roughly hundreds of millions of dollars. Plus, we must remember that at this time, global economies and their respective currencies were valued against the gold, in the same way things are valued against the US dollar today. So, you lose that much global value to the bottom of the ocean, there will be, excusing the pun, a ripple effect. The loss shook public confidence in the economy and contributed to the economic panic of 1857. With the invention of the telegraph by Samuel F. Morse in 1844, the Panic of 1857 was the first financial crisis that spread rapidly throughout the United States. Plus, the world economy was also more interconnected by the 1850s, which also made the Panic of 1857 the first worldwide economic crisis caused by the weather. And the economy sank, effectively the moment the SS South America sank in that Cat 2 hurricane off the U.S. Carolina coast on September 12, 1857. This day in weather history. Tomorrow is September the 13th. In the summer of 1951, the phrase "I like Ike" rose to prominence with Eisenhower's campaign for presidency. Today, the name Ike triggers memories of fear and terror among anyone affected by the hurricane that made landfall in Galveston, Texas, by that very same name. It happened on this day in weather history. That's tomorrow with me, your host, Chris May.